Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Glad to be back with a new and exciting episode of my Women in Football and Fantasy Football series. I think this is the third week, and I got a couple of great guests coming up on the next this week, and got one right waiting in the wings. Credible woman in this space as well. So looking forward to interviewing, having a great conversation with her. So let's get it. All right, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Glad to be back again with a new episode, new week full of great guests, women in football, fantasy football series. Looking forward to this one as well. Hope everyone enjoyed their weekend and enjoyed some time. Nice weather here on the East Coast and very good weather. So I hope everyone got to enjoy that time. And like I said, I'm looking forward to this one. But you can follow the show on all the podcast platforms, whether it is Spotify, Apple. We're on the Roku channel, BS3 Network, BS3TVLive.com. Also, iHeartRadio. We're everywhere. So wherever you get your podcast, you can listen to that. Like I said, on all those platforms. You can follow me on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, and TikTok. And I'm on TikTok as well. So follow me at Get the Real Deal on all those great platforms as well. Well, let me bring in my guest. We've met on Rachel's Unwind series that she does, Tootsie Pop, who's doing an amazing job just bringing in incredible women in the fantasy football space to talk about football life in general. So I'm looking forward to this episode. I have Kim A, known as Hottie Toddy 43. She has done the Scott Fish Bowl since Scott Fish Bowl 11. She writes and very intelligent woman in this space that does a lot of different things in this space as well. So Kim, welcome to the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Courtney, and thank you so much for supporting and highlighting us women. It means so much.
Yes, I can't. I thank you too. Thank you for doing this as well. Really appreciate it. And again, I'm glad we met and with everything with fantasy football, and we have that in common for sure. And yeah, it was just exciting to get to know you, because I get to know you a little bit. And thank you for thank you for accepting the invite as well.
Oh, you're welcome. I was honored. And it's hard to follow Rachel and Wendy on here because I respect them both so much. And they're both, they've done this a lot more than I have, but I'm just getting started. But thank you. You and
Yeah.
Scott Fish just supporting us women just means so much. And Rachel with the Unwind, just my friends in real life don't know. Like one of my friends told me the other day, I told her I was doing additions and subtraction, different teams, whatever. And she's like, well, when she got off the phone, she's like, well, enjoy whatever that is you're doing. So Wendy said the other day too, she's like, none of my friends in real life know what I'm doing. So just having the group of unwind women who are crazy like me about football and will draft like 50 teams or whatever.
Yes, we all have a lot of good teams, and a lot of times when we're trying to have so many, I should say, how many drafts and things like that. But we just love fantasy football, and like I said, I'm so glad, and you're part of that community of all the everyone that's together, women and men, and together in this space. So it was only right. I wanted to get you on, so I'm glad to be able to have the time to do this. And we already got some shout outs here. And Dunn, thank you for tuning in.
Great, Ann.
Yes, you guys got questions in the chat. Yes, Rachel's here. Yes. Rachel, credible person that's doing a lot of big things too. And Dunn said, "There's my lady." There's that lady.
That's right.
Yes, yes. And then we
If it
also,
wasn't
she said, Rachel and Wendy got nothing on you. That's
oh,
funny. That's funny. Shout out to Brittany also. Kim said one of the best. Really appreciate the love as well and the support. So continue. Yeah, we really really admire all the people in the chat as well. So for sure. But yeah, let's get right into it. I wanted to first question I always ask my first time guest, who is Kim A, and how did she get into football and fantasy football?
well, I'm a girl from Mississippi. As you can, when I went to the Fantasy Football Expo, everybody's like, "Where are you from?"
Yeah.
But I got into football with when I was 7 years old. I started watching the Dolphins with my dad, and or watching football, and I like the Dolphins because of the dolphin on their helmet. And
Yeah.
then a few years later, they drafted Dan Marino, and I was hooked for life. So my brother and I went to see them in New Orleans play
Right.
against the Saints, and we were teenagers, and people they were booing us and saying, "Well, I'm sorry, Aunt, I know you're," but they were booing us and saying, "Who dat?" in our faces, and we're like, "We're teenagers," but I realized
Right.
how people they get into fantasy football. I mean, into football in general.
Okay. Well, that's incredible, and just that's it's interesting. I love it. Always love to hear the journey of how you got into sports and everything too. And everyone has a different story. So yeah. So Fantasy Football Expo. Talk about your experience with the Fantasy Football Expo.
It was so great. I wish I could go again this year, but I'm not able to go. But I'm planning on going next year. But it was so
Okay.
because we had the unwind groups and I love them, the Zoom meetings. But just to meet people in person and be able to give them a hug, and like analysts there were so nice too that I had, which I remember when Bob Harris followed me on Twitter, I was just like fangirling because when I first started, I know I
Yeah.
listened to fantasy football, and I listen to Football Guys, and I love them. And then I met Rich Rebar there, who I'm just a big fan of, and JJ Zacharyson, and they were just all so nice. I took a picture with them. Nobody was unapproachable. So I'm telling you, I'm just a fan, people. As just a fan, you can go. You do not have to be an analyst to go to the expo and have fun. It was
Yeah,
great.
that's true. That is true. And I think with the expo, when people think about the expo, I really believe that, oh, you got to be an analyst. You have to be maybe a content creator. Yeah, you could be all that too, but you could be a fan, just a fan of football, or you could bring your kids there, and you could go. I mean, if you're just a fan of football, that's a big thing. And because you can get into a lot of the, they have the expo itself, panels. It's incredible, and you meet a lot of incredible people as well. So yeah, you can get it really. There's something for everyone at the expo. The Hall of Fame in itself, I
Right.
think that's the experience of having something like that. The Hall of Fame in itself, I think that for the expo, if you want to just go there, you could tour the Hall of Fame and really get to look at all the different things. Hall of Fame store, they got restaurants there. There's a lot of things to do at the expo. If you're into parties, they got that. So yeah, it's a good experience.
Right. It was a great experience. And I'm definitely planning on going again next year. I hate I didn't get to go this year. So I would
Yeah.
recommend it to anyone who's a fan of football at all.
Yes. Yep. Me too. I totally agree. And then that's the thing too. Like you have an opportunity. If you do have an opportunity to go, I went 2 years ago, and I haven't been since I didn't. Yeah, because I went 2 years ago. Wasn't able to go last year. Not able to go this year, but I'm gonna try to go again in the next year or so. So yeah, if you got an opportunity to go, totally do that. And Brittany says touring the Hall of Fame with all the ladies was one of my highlights of last year. So
Mine too. Mine too. And I would love to meet you there too, Courtney.
I know, yes. So maybe next year we can definitely do that. And
Right.
Ann Dunn says a lot of good comments. Haven't been to the expo yet. It's on the bucket list. Yes, if
You need to go, Ann.
Yeah.
She is one who needs to go. She may be crazier about football than I am. I don't know. She's in all the chats and everything. I can't keep up with all the chats the way Ann does.
Yeah.
I try, but
Yeah, if you get an opportunity to go, and like I said, meeting incredible people, like I said, the parties, they play. You got cornhole tournaments. They had that. Yeah, it was a lot. Like I said, and the expo in itself was a big highlight because they got live drafts. experts that are, like I said, they're doing so many different panels. I know the all women's panel. I know Rachel's doing something like that, is hosting the all women's panel this year. That was something we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and she was talking about that, and she got an incredible panel of women that's doing big things in fantasy football. So I'm looking forward to seeing the live stream of that.
Right. I cannot wait to go next year because I'm really excited about that too.
Yeah, me too. I'm very, very excited about that. So, but let's get into a little bit of some fantasy football. And again, the growth of women in fantasy football. You've done seen the growth and how far it has gone, and still going, and everything too. Talk about the growth of fantasy football, being a part of that, and the growth, and it continues to keep climbing and rising because there's so many. You list some of them. There's so many incredible women. But talk a little bit about what you've seen in the growth of women in fantasy football.
Well, the first year that I was in Scott Fishbowl, and Scott Fishbowl 11, there weren't nearly as many people in there then. But I've met several people. Like I met Stephanie Miller through, and she works for a Legendary Upside now with Pat Crane. But I met her, I think, in one of my Scott Fishbowl chats, and I've met so many wonderful people just through those. I met one that I did a fantasy draft with a live Scott Fishbowl last year in New Orleans. I had met her in a dynasty draft, and then I drafted with her live. And then just meeting all the people like Brittany and Angie, who said she couldn't watch this tonight because she's on a plane, and Rachel. Rachel was so easy. I kept trying to wanting to spend time with Rachel, but people just love Rachel. So
yes, they do.
High demand.
Yes. She was in high demand when I met her a couple of years ago, and at that time we had talked with each other on Twitter and on social media, and it was just we kept passing each other, and then we finally got a chance to I think at one of the panels we got a chance to take a picture with each other. But you said everyone's running around, they're busy, and they're trying to get to this part of the expo and get to this part of the expo. But you're right, the whole experience is really good. And now it said you've been you're part of it too, and the growth of this as well. Got to give a shout out to Wendy Early. Just had her on last week. Incredible time with her. She said you are the real deal for sure. So you're taking my name of the show.
I thought she was talking about you. I think she's talking about you, not me.
No, you're definitely the real deal as well. And but let's get a little bit more into the fantasy football. When do you start preparing? Do you start preparing? Are you one of those that prepares like right after the Super Bowl, and you're like, yes, okay, time for next season? So are the ones that said it doesn't stop?
It kind of doesn't stop. I go to the Senior Bowl practices in January, but I live like 25 minutes from the stadium. So I discovered Elijah Arroyo there this year. I went to Ole Miss, graduated there, and I watched them on college football, but I don't watch much else. But I found out about Elijah Arroyo. He was catching everything. He was just a star of Senior Bowl practices. And 2 years ago, I discovered Tyjae Spears there. And I mean, he's not a star now because he's had some injuries and everything, but he was a good, he's a good pick. And I picked him a lot in my drafts this year, but I was like, he's really good. So, and Rashard Smith was catching a lot, which the Chiefs took him, I think, in the 7th round, but he could still do something. He was a converted wide receiver to running back, but I noticed him there. Jack Besh, and I'd never heard of Jack Besh, and he wound up, I think, getting drafted in the 2nd round by the Raiders. So then I start drafting in February. I did it last year, and I don't think I did but about 3 drafts on Underdog, the big board, but I turned $10 into $1,500. I think there were 600,000 people in that contest, and I got in the final the final 500. I came out 153rd. The top prize was $200,000. But I still remember, I'm sorry, I love you, Chase Brown. But if you hadn't slid down before you scored that touchdown in week 17, I could have won more money. But I love you, Chase Brown.
I love it. I
I
love it.
always remember that. And then they scored a touchdown right after that. And I still remember, I think it was Brian Westbrook. I think he was the first one who slid like years ago instead of scoring the touchdown. He had all kinds of people mad at him. But first of all, please never anyone tweet anything mean to football players because, just because you draft them on your team, they do not owe you anything.
Right, they don't. You're right. They're right. No, that's, I mean, it's good. That's a great like I said, how you when you start, and we're such football junkies. It doesn't stop even when the season is over. We're waiting for March and free agency and the draft, and then okay, now fantasy football. I got to shout out Stacey Perez.
Oh, hey Stacey.
Hey Stacey, how you doing? I had her on just, I think it was last week. I've had so many shows now over the last couple of weeks. Yeah, but yeah, I really appreciate Stacey as well.
I love Stacey too. These are all my ladies. I love them all so
the ladies
much.
In the house, yes.
Thank you again, Rachel.
Yes, for sure. But we're so locked in. It's like almost a 24/7 type of 365 when it comes to football with us. We love it, and we're preparing for the draft. And when May hits, it's like we hit the ground running on a lot of different things as well. But what's one of your favorite things that you love about fantasy football?
Well, the first time I remember playing was in the year 2002. I was in New York City, but I still checked, even though I was in New York, I still checked my fantasy football team. I don't even remember back then how I checked it, whatever. I guess I had a cell phone and checked it. But my Dolphins lost to the Chiefs, and I was sad about that. But Priest Holmes was on my team, and he won me my fantasy football match. And I decided then, I'm hooked. Even if my real life team, the Dolphins, are doing poorly, I can still root for, I can still have fun playing fantasy football. So that's how I got hooked.
Okay. All right. 2002. So you've been playing as long as just about how I've been playing. I think mine was 2001, 2000. It's been a long time. I remember, as you said, back then we had to wait to basically the newspapers. I mean, yes, internet was around, but it wasn't as, the tools wasn't as much access to it as it is today. Right. There's so many different websites. There's so many different things. You either had to buy a magazine or for your preparation, or check the newspaper. Sometimes you had to call. I remember that back then. Yeah,
I don't remember that.
Yeah. I was in a league where you had to call for the results, and that was back. That was way back. Yeah, I'm aging myself a little bit, but that was way back in the day. But it definitely has. It definitely has changed over the years, and I love it now that there's so much access, so many statistics and different websites, and so many different incredible fantasy football managers that are in the strategies and things like that. But you bring up a good point about don't go around the messaging the football players and things like that just because your fantasy football team lost or they did something and they got other things to worry about. They're not worried about our fantasy football teams. We're doing this for fun. At the end of the day, it's all about fun. Yes, competitive, but it's about the fun. I think sometimes that gets lost when it comes to fantasy sports.
It does. It definitely does. I think it gets lost in life, whatever, just in the world. Just be kind, first of all. But yeah.
For sure. And Tootsie Pop says that Kim's positive spirit uplifts the online community and the fantasy space as a whole. So that's
sweet.
Yes. Yeah, we love all. Thank you for all the comments and things like that. So Ann Dunn says, how many leagues are you in? Me and you both are in. So I'm gonna let you answer first because that was one of my questions. So thank you for that. And so how many leagues are you in right now? What you can remember that you're in?
I think I'm in about 25 that some are best ball, but even a lot of those have waivers. And then I do some on Underdog and DraftKings, but those are just strictly best ball. You don't have to do waivers for them. but I think about 10 dynasty leagues, and then, some different charity leagues and a few redraft leagues. So I cut back a little bit this year. I know Erica and I promised each other last year, we're like, we're going to hold each other accountable. I hope she remembers that. But I think we've both drafted a little bit less this year than last year. I was just, if you get too many, like, waivers can be overwhelming. I prefer the leagues that have waivers that run like 2 or 3 times a year, not like every few days. It's just hard to keep up.
So Ian says, Lordy, you cut back. That's funny. Well, I can answer this too. I definitely cut back. I'm in, let's see, 1, 2. I'm in 2, 3 leagues. I kind of Scott Fish Bowl and I'm in one redraft. I'm in a new league now, so I am cutting back. I'm only doing 3, and I'm sticking with that. I know it's hard. People ask us all the time, "Do you want to get in this league? Do you want to get in this league? Do you want to get in this league?" I'm cutting way back, so I'm only doing 3 because I want to concentrate on these 3 leagues. I'm gonna do DFS, DraftKings.
Yes, me too.
But so I'm totally cutting back. Last time I think I had 10, 15 leagues or something like that. So I'm really cutting back this year. I'm probably going to regret it. I'm like, oh man, I should have been in this league. But yes, I'm holding my own self accountable. I'm only doing 3 leagues this year.
Well, I didn't join as many leagues this year. Some of my leagues that I'm in are dynasty leagues, like about 10 of them that I've been in for, several years. And I don't want to leave a dynasty league.
Right. So. Right. Yeah. I'm not in any dynasty leagues. I'm in, like I said, I'm in my redraft podcast league. We got a podcast. Some of the podcasts, we've been doing that for the last 6 years now. So that's one of my favorite leagues. So I'm concentrating on that. And I'm in another new league now, and and then like I said, DraftKings for sure. But yeah, I know you're big on DFS, DraftKings too.
Oh yes, I love DFS. Yes, I really like to do, which I'll play the Millie Maker a little bit, but I play smaller contests, like maybe 1,000 people or something. But I really like to find leagues, like I know Christopher Harris runs one that's rake free. I actually won that one time last year. I was proud of that. But there's only I don't remember if it's 500 people, 600 people, whatever, something like that in those. And then I know Anne, sometimes she would invite me. It would be like a 12-team league. Sometimes we would do, those. And I don't play the Millie Maker a lot because I don't have the money to throw into, I just don't want to be willy-nilly every week throwing. Some people throw 150 lineups in there. So I might throw 1 or 2, but I like the single entries or the 3 entry maxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like that
those are. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I didn't cut you off. Sorry. Yeah. I didn't. Those are some of the best ones too. Just kind of, I'll do a Millie Maker. I'll put a little bit in there. Not every week, but because they start losing the money each week. It's like
right. It's hard to make money in those. They're so top heavy.
Yes, it is. It is. So got some more comments here when he said, "Oh my OMG, 10 dynasty league." So now Brittany's gonna try to. She said, "No dynasty." She said, "Uh oh, don't make us do a dynasty startup." Yes, I haven't done dynasty in a while. So like you said, oh, Kelly in Phoenix is in the house. Okay,
Kelly, hey Kelly, I love Kelly.
Kelly Singh. Shout out to Kelly Singh, one of my favorite people too as well. All these ladies are some good people. So Kelly, I got to get you on the show. So I'm throwing it out there. Got to get you back on the show. She's been on the show multiple times. So be on the lookout, Kelly, for an invite real soon. So I'll get you on as well. Rachel will have to set up before the podcast is over. Yes. We're gonna try to rope me into a dynasty league or something, I'm sure.
That's right.
I've been turning down a lot of different leagues, so it's gonna be hard. But you guys might have me hooked on something like that. But I want to go back to the DFS thing because I think it's very important about roster construction. We hear about that. Hear about what type of leagues you're gonna do or contest you're gonna do and everything too. And like you said, you got to know your bankroll. You got to know your money and things like that. Like, okay, can I get into this 1,000-person league or 1,000 people in this league, or do I go for the big 200,000 fantasy owners in this one and everything too. And like I said, how do you pick each for each week which contest you're going to get into?
Usually, like I said, I'll play single entry or a 3-entry max. And if you, I might throw one into the Millie Maker. I think the best way to play week one, if you're going to play the Millie Maker, I think play week one because nobody knows anything. And after that, I don't play as much Millie Maker. I'll do the single entry or the 3-entry max. But I think week one is a great week to play.
Yeah,
the Millie Maker.
Agree. Yes, I totally agree. And Dunn said, tip for someone listening that might be just getting into DFS. And I think that's a really week one, depending on, like I said, depending on your bankroll and how much money you want to invest in. Not saying spend all your money, but there's so many different contests. There's so many different, you got the 25-cent one, you got the 10-cent ones. I think you could try those and put a couple of lineups in there. And then you said research throughout the week, listen to some podcasts, and then just being able to find out like, okay, who do I want to go with? And ownership is a big thing. If you got someone that's 70% owned, in that it's, you might say, okay, maybe I'll pivot on this quarterback or I'll pivot on this quarterback that might put up the same type of numbers as well. But week one is I think it's a really big week that a lot of people will put in because they're excited that football's back. So there's enough. I really believe there's enough leagues or contests when it comes to DraftKings that you can really, and then like I said, 25-cent, 50-cent contest, 10-cent contest. I think they used to have 1 cent. I don't think they have the 1 cent ones anymore, but they have 10-cent ones. They do definitely have 10-cent ones. And if you have $1, put 10 lineups in. I think
that's the way. Sorry. That's the way I started playing 10-cent contests. And then somebody told me, they're like, you should really play some bigger contests. So I finally moved up. But yeah, I started out, I would play nickel contests on FanDuel. Yep. One time I won one though. And there were 100, I tied with a bunch of people though, like 100-something people. And I think I only won $20. And that lineup, if I would have had it in something bigger, I think I looked in like Osimo, he's a DFS pro. I think he won like $50,000 with that same lineup. But, it's knowing your contest, and you don't want to tie with 100 people either because they're very top heavy. So if I would have been just one contrarian player, that would have been, or one more contrarian player. Like I've already looked a little bit. Week one, I think I saw that Anthony Richardson is $5,100, but he'll be very popular at $5,100 if he's the starter. So he would be somebody that you don't really want to play in the Millie Maker probably, or if you do, be contrarian. You can play him, but be contrarian somewhere.
Very good call. Yeah, if you get like you said, if you get into these bigger contests, the Millie Maker, the $25 ones or anything like that, there's a lot of people playing, and as you said, they're putting 150 lineups in, 200 lineups in, and they're so really pick your spots with those contests, and that's always a big thing. And you pick your spots with those contests when you which ones you want to do. And I say, if you want to start small with that. I think there's nothing wrong with that, putting in lineups in with 10-cent, 25-cent lineups. And hey, if you feel like I could put $1 or $2 or $5, I mean, so be it. Just don't all use all your bankroll that first week.
That's right. That's right, because it can go away in a hurry.
It's addicting. It's addicting for sure. But yes, definitely be very careful with it, but have fun with it at the end of the day.
That's
definitely have fun. So Brittany says DFS is where the real money is. Yes, it can be for sure. If you can get on a roll, I've won some money here and lost it. and so for sure. But really appreciate we appreciate the comments as well. Just got a couple more before I let you go. I mean, really enjoying chatting with you and everything. But I want to ask you about, you said you're a Miami Dolphins fan. What's your expectation for the Dolphins this year? They, they got some questions on both sides of the football, but I think one of the main things is Tyreek Hill, and some of the comments he had made before, almost like he wanted to get traded and leave, things like that. And now they're holding him accountable. And he's even admitted, like, okay, I said some things. We got to get this rolling again offensively because they were such an explosive offense 2 seasons ago. And maybe now, things people have caught up to them, maybe, but teams have caught up to them. But what's your expectation for the Dolphins this season? And they're in division with the Buffalo Bills, who are probably at the top, or definitely at the top at that division. But you got New England, who's more than likely going to improve. We'll see what the Jets do with new quarterback, new coaching, and things like that. So, but where do you see your Dolphins and your expectation for them this upcoming season?
Unfortunately, probably about mid-pack. I just don't think they'll maybe 8-9 or something like that, 9-8. I just don't see them doing what they did 2 years ago, and their offensive line is just not very good for one thing. So, and Teron Armstead retiring, that did not. That didn't help. So and. They're kind of their defense too. Some of their cornerbacks are not now. Their front seven, might be pretty good, but their secondary is not too good.
Right. Yeah, and like you said, offensive line is very important because of with Tua and the history of the concussions and start trying to stay healthy. And I know they're trying to keep him upright for sure. I think that's one of the main things. Right. So they have to protect. They got the running game and they have a few receivers. So it's and like I said, and they got an offensive-minded coach. It's just like I said, they just got to try to keep Tua healthy, and hopefully, like I said, they can get back into it. And I can see them middle of the pack in the AFC. And the AFC is so loaded. It's still to this day. Like I said, we talk about Buffalo and Baltimore. So Kansas City, of course.
Kansas City, right?
Yeah, the LA Chargers, and so you just we'll see where the Dolphins will be able to fit in. But he said maybe middle of the pack, but then again they can get on a roll because they could be so good offensively. But if they get the health of Tua, really, we'll see what happens there. If he can stay healthy, they can keep him protected.
Right. And I never turn off football games hardly, but I turned it off when he got hurt like that. I turned it off and I was like, seriously, even as a Dolphins fan, I was like, oh, please Tua retire, because I was worried about his health. But so hopefully he can stay healthy. And I'm hoping that Waddle has a better year this year. I think he could have a bounce back. So I've been drafting him a good bit because his value is depressed. So, and I have drafted Tyreek a good bit too. He's moved up a little bit in drafts, but he was going in the third round. So,
right, yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to this upcoming season. You just never know what teams are. We have our favorites, but they're the favorites. But we'll see what happens there. Like you said, the AFC is so loaded. We'll see if anything is. Wendy says she's on the Waddle. Yeah, for sure. And Dunn says, love you, Kim. Courtney, thanks for having women on your show. We're getting bigger and better. Watch out, fellas. Yes. Yeah, we appreciate the love. Fins up, Wendy says. Fins up. So
that's right. That's right. Wendy's my Dolphins fan friend.
Yep, for sure. Looking forward to this upcoming season. So, all right, well, two more, and one of my favorite questions I've been asking each and every one in this series is what makes a good to great fantasy football manager?
One is stay involved, keep up with injuries. If you're in dynasty leagues, I'll admit it. My weakness is trading. If you're in dynasty leagues, listen to trades, whatever, and at least respond to the people who are trading. But the waiver wire, scour the waiver wire.
Yes, for sure. I like that. I really do. And you said stay connected and and the waiver wire trades starts with the draft. I totally agree. And really, he said stay focused. And again, we talked about it again. Have fun
right.
doing this. He says it's competitive, but it's still at the end of the day, it's a fun. It makes it fun when
Right.
you are connected with your league mates and not be the one of those ones that just if you're 0-7, 1-8, and you just decide, "Oh, I'm not doing this anymore," and you kind of quit
Don't
mid-season.
do
No,
that.
still stay in it and really enjoy, because you don't want to, just because you might be out of it, still have fun with it too, because at the end of the day, it's fun at the end. So yeah.
Yeah, and I started last year. I didn't do well in the Scott Fish Bowl to start with. I had Anthony Richardson, and he got benched, but I kept fighting all year, and I made the playoffs. So you
Yeah,
just have to
there
keep
you go.
fighting. Don't give
Got to
up.
keep fighting. Got to keep fighting. And when I had Rachel on 2 weeks ago, and she said the same thing. She said, "Look, she said she was 0-6 in one of her leagues,
I
and
heard.
she said, okay, I got to take a step back, get into the waiver wire, really pay attention, more just pay attention, and the next thing you know, she went on a 7-8 game win streak, and next thing you
That's
know, she's in
right.
the playoffs. So yeah, you're never out of it. You're never out of it, even if you're 0-7, 0-8. You just,
That's
because once
right.
you start winning, and then you're like, wow, I'm in the playoffs now. Now I'm 8-8. I'm in the playoffs.
That's,
So yeah.
and it starts over.
Yeah, yeah. Then it
Most
starts.
leagues
Then it starts
anyway.
over. Yeah, everybody's on 0-0 when playoff time comes,
Right.
for sure. But the last one, I know you did it was an article, but you did something on Twitter where
Oh yeah.
you had all the teams, and you picked, like, okay, what they did in the off season, which I thought was incredible to
Thank
have that
you.
time. Yeah, that was really good, because there was so many moving parts and so many free agents, and we forget, like, oh my goodness, I forgot this person went to this team and everything too. But talk about the idea going into it and just helping others, they just find it in one place and say, oh my goodness, I didn't know this player was here, but you did. I thought it was incredible that you did that content.
Right. I like doing it for myself. Then I thought to myself, a lot of people could benefit from this because, I took time and did the research, and I didn't include every transaction, but anything that I thought was notable, I
Yeah,
included. And I thought, yeah, this would be helpful to a lot of people because that's the kind of thing is hard to find. I mean,
yeah.
you can find out their draft picks, or you can, find out different things in different places. But I thought it would just be good to put it all together for each team.
Yeah, that was good. And Rachel says that Kim put in incredible work with the post. Yes, it's on your Twitter page,
Yes, I pinned
or X. Yes, yep. It's on the X page there. You have a pin right at the top, NFL additions and subtractions for every team, and from all 32 teams. And I thought it was every, departures and additions, as well. So it's a big thread there. So that will help also with those that are trying to set up their line, or their drafts and research. So yeah, you put in a lot of incredible research into that. I thought that was very incredible. I was like, oh my
Thank
goodness, that
you.
was perfect time. You're gonna be on the show and we can talk about that.
I know
And
that means a lot, Courtney. Thank you.
yeah, that was, yeah. So yeah, everyone check that out. If you want to catch up and do a, it's like a snapshot, but you put in the research, but it's a very snapshot of all the additions and subtractions throughout, from the off season. So that was very incredible. So all right. Before I let you go, before send out your social medias, but what else you got coming up before this craziness of the season starts in about a month now. So we're looking forward to it. But anything else you want to shout out, or that you got coming up?
I don't really have anything coming up right now, but just doing a lot of best ball drafts to get ready for the
Yeah.
season. But I do want to say something I thought about in the drafting. I think a big rule is, besides Wendy had said last on one of the last episodes, to know your scoring system. Also, know your league mates, I'll say, and don't panic. I think that's a main rule. Don't panic during your draft. If a wide receiver run goes, or a quarterback run goes, or a running back run goes, don't just reach and panic. Stick to your game plan and players that you like and know are good.
That's really good advice for those that are getting into drafting and things like that. Yeah, don't panic. Stick with your game plan. And as you said, yes, you're gonna. We like to call it. Somebody's gonna swipe us, and
Yes.
you know, that you're looking for that player. You might have the ninth pick, and then someone gets them on the 7th or 8th. Don't panic. Just go to your
That's
game
right.
plan. Don't reach either. Yes, and you said know your scoring. Yeah, I agree,
Yes.
100%. Know your scoring and your league mates too, because you can study your league mates for
Yes.
sure. And they're like, okay, they like, because I know Kelly at Phoenix, she loves her tight end. She talked about it all the time, and
Right.
she would load up. So we know that for sure. She's like, I'm just loading up on every tight end I can get. She says so. But
That's
yeah,
right.
but definitely don't panic if a quarterback run comes, and if you're in if you're in position that you want a QB, get your guy, get your player that you want. But if you don't want to reach, then stick with the game plan, because there's a lot of depth in some of these positions as well.
Right.
For sure. Well, Kim, it's been an incredible time.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate the time, and yes, you do so much good work with just being being a woman in fantasy football, but not just that, but just all the things you're doing, and like I said, the research you put in, and it's so good to meet you as well.
So good.
And I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and getting to know you a little bit more as well.
Thank you, Courtney. I enjoyed it so much. It was like talking with a long-time friend. I
Yes,
loved it.
it has been. Yes, it was. Yes, yes. We appreciate. I appreciate it, and we appreciate the comments as well. But let everyone know they
Yes.
can follow you, follow your content, and or want to reach out on social media as well.
I'm at Hottie Toddy 43 on Twitter and Blue Sky, which I don't get on Blue Sky very much. I need to get back on there some, but those are the main places. Hottie Toddy 43.
Hottie Toddy 43, and like I said, check out that incredible research, the NFL additions and subtracts for every team on Twitter and Blue Sky. Yeah, I got to get back on Blue Sky too. I started it, and then I get on just to read
Yes.
things, but I don't ever hardly post. But I definitely need to get back on, especially now with the NFL season beginning in
Right.
about 1 month. So
Right.
but
I'm so excited. I know you're excited about your Eagles.
yes, yes, I am. I'm very excited about the Eagles this season. Again, hopefully they can get on another Super Bowl run, and they stay healthy and stay hungry. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see what happens this year. But I know it's going to be hard. It's going to be a very hard season again. But I am very excited for just the season in general. So, but yeah, but best of luck with your teams and your drafts and everything too. Really, but I really appreciate the time,
Thank
and thank you again. I really do.
Thank you again, Courtney, for supporting all us women.
Yeah, absolutely. You're very welcome, and you enjoy. You have a good week, and we'll be talking soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right. Yeah, you have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.